Much like the days when Stanley dared cut through the jungle in search of Livingston, there are still places on the outskirts of our global village where calloused hands pounding on tom-toms announce the intrusion of the white man. The Dinka and Mundari herdsmen hadn't met one in 18 years. Driven out of their territory by a relentless Arab persecution, these unique tribes have been literally bullied across the earth's crust into the forbidding environment of the White Nile. Here they scratch out their customary living while praying to the gods who have forsaken them in the past. At dawn and again at dusk, the men are the ones who care for the children. This includes protecting them from the world of predatory insects that swarm the area looking for free room and board on warm-blooded hosts. The fathers give the children a scrupulous washing with cow urine. Those who have come of age shower directly under the source of nature's own insect repellent. To further guarantee the repellent effectiveness of the ammonia contained in the urine, the Dinka and Mundari powder themselves with specially burnt and pulverized cattle dung. Disgusting? Any insect would agree with you. The beneficial use of excrement is just another example of how centuries of trial and error in adverse terrain have bestowed a perfect working knowledge of nature upon a primitive people. But does the word primitive do justice to an all-encompassing rapport with reality in which man is at once victim, accomplice, and moving force? Obviously not. We are now not only dealing with rudimentary forms of religious and socio-economic organization, as some would have it, but have entered a much darker, chaotic realm where the difference between terror and ecstasy is meaningless, and where the linchpin of all existence is magic. A Mundari herdsman treats his cattle like full-fledged members of his family. Branded while still calves, each head is given a lifelong name and lavished with loving care. If the animal were to die prematurely, the heartbroken herdsman would mourn for days. With the same devotion with which he doctored the calf's flesh after having seared it with a branding iron, a Mundari guards his herd from diseases and fractures. A conscientious herdsman would more readily comply to the moods and whims of his cattle than to those of his wives. The Mundari's reverence for their oxen is so magically ingrained in their collective psyche that they offer up songs and ritualistic dances to honor them. Copying the animal's movements in a symbolically erotic pantomime, these cowboys of the White Nile reestablish an ancient link with their totem, the spirit of their clan, the generating and unifying force of their tribe. The cows will swell with milk, the women will be fertile, and the tribe will prosper. If not, only grueling hardships are in the offing. Offending the totem is worse than inviting oneself to an excruciatingly painful death. Oral stimulation, which includes puffing, sucking, and spitting into natural orifices, is the customary method for magically invoking and exorcising spirits from an afflicted body. The therapeutic value of magical autosuggestion has long been well known. When a Mundari witch sucks on the body of an old sick woman, she is putting magic to the service of medicine. If the witch is able to transfer the evil spirit tormenting the woman into a younger, healthier body, able to resist that particular ailment, the woman will survive. If all the powers of magic prove to be insufficient to unswell the pregnant cow, the desperate Mundari will try more conventional methods. Come what may, even a sick cow is better than no cow at all. At dusk, her precious manure will be burnt along with that of the other cattle and will serve the Mundari well as a cleansing agent and as comfortable bedding for the long African nights. Even as children, the Mundari dedicate much of their energy to target practice. The spare and functional grace with which they move their lithe bodies is no artful embellishment, but a subconscious attempt to capture the very pulse of nature. For a primitive African, movement is akin to prayer, and as such unbinds the soul from its earthly fetters. Only slow motion does justice to the structural beauty and lambence of the Nilotic race in action. A mock battle is a joyous dress-up affair among the Mundaris. Many come to the ceremony girded with colorful ostrich feathers. Those who can afford a more solid defense come in tortoise-shaped suits of mail meshed with tiny pearls. Keeping children ignorant of any aspect of nature is considered pointless by the Mundari, for whom innocence is tantamount to weakness. Far more than by ordinary sexual intercourse between humans, these children are fascinated by the noisy and protracted mating of two tortoises. Besides the natural curiosity of noting how they have overcome built-in logistic difficulties, the children's attention is drawn by the apparent suffering of the male, who seems to accompany every penetration with a death rattle. By burning cow dung for their bedding, they leave a dense and acrid smokescreen above the whole area. This will serve as protection against insects and as an invitation for wandering herdsmen looking for rest. But ultimately, the impenetrable haze of burnt cow dung will become a powerful sleep-inducing incense. Under its magical and soothing effect, the Mundari will cuddle next to their beloved cattle and pass the night. Not everyone will sleep, though. A group of men are eagerly discussing the big hunt planned for the coming